So, as you know, I play a lot of video games. To competitive games, to shooters, to farming simulators, to single player adventures, to puzzle solvers, to story driven, and etc, etc. But out of all of the games I have played, I would like to share a few that are some of the most unique games I have ever played. It could be the concept, the art direction, the gameplay, or just the game doesn't have any other game like it. We're going to talk about 3 today, but I tend to talk about more games like this, but this video would be hella long, so more videos of this style will be released. So let's not waste any more time, and let's get right into it. This first game I have already talked about on my channel, and I have never had a game that has made me have so much fun in such a short amount of time. Of course, it's Monster Hunter Wilds. I know, I've already talked about this game in other videos, but I want to explain further why this game is so special. Since this video is about games that aren't like any other, how is Monster Hunter Wilds unique? There are Monster Hunter games just like it, but it isn't really about this game in general, but just the series' uniqueness. There have been many attempts to make this style of gameplay of hunting monsters in a boss fight RPG setting, but many have either failed to compete with Monster Hunter or is just not interesting enough to compare to Monster Hunter's big world. But let us just talk about Wilds and how it is literally the best Monster Hunter game so far. Obviously, this game is about monsters, so how are they all special? Every monster is unbelievably unique in how they look, how they fight, and the special quirks they have while fighting them. Take Ray Dow for instance. This monster is the apex monster of the first era you visit. It is a wyvern that can harness electricity to make a lightning cannon. Is that it? No, actually. Since this monster is an apex monster, many of the other monsters are deeply terrified of it and stay away from it when it hears the sounds of its gems flying through the sky. The people that live in this area use these gems in order to keep monsters away from this village, as the wind makes the gems sound together and makes similar sounds to Raid Out, keeping the village generally safe from harm. That is just one monster out of the many unique new monsters added in this new title, and they are all as interesting as the next. The greatness of Monster Hunter is that they have a lot of attention to detail in their environments to try to recreate an actual ecosystem, and many creatures that live in it, like humans or Wook-Wooks, adapt to these environments in order to live and create a safe haven. They have creatures up to the massive monsters you fight, to the tiniest of bugs crawling on trees and other locations. The environment and the creatures are not the only thing that makes this game so unique. The diversity you have of weapon types and how they play are also one of the most unique combat systems I have ever seen. There are 14 different types of weapons like big swords, tiny daggers, gun lances, switch axes, hammers, bows, bowguns, and so much more. Some of these weapons are more complicated than others, but no matter how bad you are, you will always have fun using any type of weapon. The weapons are how you hurt the monster, but how can you defend against one? Obviously, you have the ability to craft and equip armor for the monsters that you have hunted, and with these armors and sets come even more complications with armor set bonuses, armor skills, and jewels that increase the amount of skills you can have. We are still not done though, as all of these armors look incredibly unique and amazing. You can make a bunch of different outfits and have fun hunting monsters while also looking like a total badass. I can go even further to how complicated and unique this game is, but this video would be immensely long, so I will stop right here, but I hope this has changed your mind about Monster Hunter and you would give it a try. If you want to hear more, I recommend watching my Why You Should Play Monster Hunter video if you need more convincing. This second game was the start of a revolution of shooters, more specifically hardcore realistic shooters. Before I tell you what it is, you've gotten so far in this video, and I would love for you to subscribe if you're enjoying it so far. It is completely free and you can change your mind at any time to stop following me, but let's continue and talk about Escape from Tarkov. Tarkov didn't actually start the revolution of looting shooters and realistic ones. That can be given to the Armor series and the mod DayZ, but those are nothing compared to Escape from Tarkov's uniqueness and complexity of gunplay and design. This game has a long history of how it came to be, and one thing that is important to know is that it is still technically in open beta. It first became available in open beta in July of 2017, and has had many updates since then with more locations, guns, movement changes, armor changes, and so much more. But let's not talk about how it came to be. First, what is Escape from Tarkov in the first place? It is a semi-realistic extraction shooter set in this fictional city of Tarkov. A political scandal and corporate collapse led to a chaotic war zone for the city and forces the player to survive in this zone by looting for better equipment, complete quests for black market sellers, and hopefully extract from this living hell. But you are not the only one in here. There are other players known as PMCs trying to do the same, but also scavengers in the city doing their best to survive or just create chaos. There is more depth to the story, but the setting of it is already fairly unique. A post-apocalyptic zone has been done by some games like the Stalker games and even DayZ, but that is not the reason why this game is so special. The experiences you have in this game are not like any other game because of its extremely complicated combat and systems. This game is a shooter, but it is also an RPG. So you must complete quests in the game in order to not only level up your character, but to also gain a good reputation with your black market sellers so they can sell you better gear for your next extraction. The game loop is a constant go into an extraction, find what you need to do, maybe kill some scavs and players on the way, and hopefully get out before you perish. As when you do perish, you lose all your gear, and any quest items you collected. It is a very punishing game. But that is what makes it so exciting to be the last one standing in a gunfight. The rewards are high and the odds can be boiled down to your skill, knowledge, luck, and mind game tactics. Every battle is unique on location, your gear, the opponent's gear, how many opponents there are, and how knowledgeable they are of the game. When I said this game is complicated, I meant it. Not only do you have to do all of this, the weapons you use are extremely customizable to scopes, stocks, lasers, flashlights, grips, handguards, magazines, barrel length, barrel attachments, and ammo types that all have penetration value for armor and the amount of damage they do. There are also 5 armor classes that all have certain areas that they protect and durability that goes down when being shot. You also have headphones that can offer better acoustics for footsteps and other sounds. I am still not done talking about stuff in this game. The health and healing system are also complicated. You have a possibility of getting a fracture, heavy bleeding, light bleeding, pain that causes your vision to blur, and even blacked out limbs, meaning you need to surgically repair them to make them usable again. If you break your arms, your weapon's handling will be reduced. If you break your legs, you can't run unless you have painkillers or a splint. If your stomach is blacked out, your hunger and thirst bar go down faster. This is why Tarkov is so unique. It is one of the most complicated games I have ever played. Some of these systems can be quite frustrating, but in the end, it is some of the most realistic combat I have played. It still is super far from realism, but nothing is as close as Escape from Tarkov. This is a hard game to get into, but the reward of getting better at it is high because of the all or nothing mentality to gunplay and looting. But if you're not looking for playing such a high stakes looter extraction shooter, Tarkov also has an arena game where it has the gunplay of Tarkov, but its sole purpose is about the gunplay. These games are not for everyone, but it is one of the best hardcore realistic shooters in the marketplace. This last game is by far one of the most unique games in the world. It has such uniqueness in every single aspect to its graphics, story, gameplay, and design. I wish this game got even more attention than it does now, and I believe it is a game that everyone should play or at least try. Grab your pirate hats and eye patches as we are about to get on a boat that has a fantastical tale. It has finally returned after such a long voyage. Return of the Obra Dinn. This game is about a boat named the Obra Dinn, and the tale of all 51 passengers, which many have perished. Your job in the game is to find out who these people were, how they died or not, and who shot the bullet. But how the heck are you going to figure out all of this for every single person on this boat when they are either dead or MIA? Luckily, you have this magical pocket watch that shows you the final moments of someone's life.
Captain! Open the door! Kick it in. Lest we break it down and take more than those shells!
You bastards may take.
Exactly what I give you!
This is an amazing detective story, and one of the coolest parts is that you start the story on the final few lives that perish with the context clues that a lot has happened on the ship before this happened. The design of reliving the final moments of someone's life is outstandingly unique, and not every passenger will have a lot of information through dialogue to who they are. You need to gather context clues of how they speak, what nationality they are, what kind of tasks they are doing on the ship, go into other people's final moments to see even more clues, look into the environment, and also who they hang around a lot. The game does a great job of telling the story of all the people on the ship, and with all of these crew members, there is a lot of information to keep track of, but the developers also thought about that. You can bookmark certain people and see all the memories they show up in, but sometimes you need to take some educated guesses, which is also explained by the game. The uniqueness of the gameplay is only amplified by the amazing choice of graphics. The graphics are very retro, with sharp shapes up close, but further the distance, the more obscure the objects become, which really makes you pay attention and look at everything closely in every memory. It also just gives you that old-timey feel that barely gets used in these current age of games. Since you need to experience the game yourself, I won't spoil it for you, but expect a wild ride. This game was created by Lucas Pope, the same developer of Papers, Please, another amazing game that captures the player in its amazing story and unique gameplay. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. I intend to release more videos like this with other unique games that I consider revolutionized gaming, or are just so unique that no game can compare. I hope you are having a great day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.